Hello from the Yarn Closet in Tucson, Arizona. I am Laura. Yes, I did just brush my hair. Isn't that fabulous? I brushed it. I wasn't planning this, but the last few days have been busy and my husband just left the house, so I have a few minutes. Yes, the dishwasher's in the background. I am the Yarn Closet group on Ravelry, Yarn Closet Arizona, personally on Ravelry, Yarn Closet Arizona on Instagram, and the Yarn Closet page on Facebook. However, I am seriously considering getting off Facebook just because of craziness. I need to be less on this thing and more into the knitting and stuff. So the crazy 11-day break is over. My son was sad. Homeschooling may be in our future sooner than we thought. He was always planning on high school in the hopes that he could double dip and graduate with an AA degree and a high school diploma. He's a little smarty pants. My daughter is a very smarty pants, so we'll see how that goes. But it might be sooner versus later. The kids are a challenge, and he's getting involved in a few other things outside of school for some socialization that's a little bit more controlled. A science group with his grandpa, some other things. So maybe that'll do the trick, give him what he needs, and help his heart not to be ruined by the whole experience. That's kind of my goal as a parent. Yes, there's stuff that they need, and yes, they will get that, but I don't want to break their hearts in the process. I want my kids to have some self-esteem when they leave the nest, because I can tell you, I certainly didn't, and I know a lot of people who really didn't, who left it in a far more broken state than I think our parents realized. So that's my goal. Whether or not I'm going to achieve it, who knows? Because you make one thing right as a parent and something else is broken in the perception of your children. Who knows? But today it is Yarn Day, so I'm going to show a few crazy things that I found since I moved my little yarn closet. I don't know if I can do that. Can you switch the camera view? I don't think so. I don't know. What's this button do? I don't know. So I used to have my yarn closet, because most of my yarn was in a closet, off of our kitchen in that little nook at the far end where the table currently is. And then this little 2 steps up from our living room was our dining room, but we made it into the yarn closet so I can do my stuff and still be a part of the family stuff that primarily goes on in there. And let me tell you, that made a huge change. The light is a little bit better for me. I can use lamp lighting. It's not quite as overly bright, which washes things out for me. But it's just so dang cozy. I mean, I have that little corner. I have this little chaise that the dogs love. I have Lewis, the cranker, right there. And I have cranked probably 10,000 yards in the last 3 days. Oh my God! I have a 48 and a 62 cylinder. So I'm just gonna try to show you the difference in width. There's about a 1/2 inch of difference in width of the 2 tubes, this little bit here. I'll post some pictures on Instagram, hopefully showing the gauge also. And thank you, Freckled Whimsy, Carrie, my dear, finally explained to me in a way I could understand how to have a starting off point that's equal when trying to figure out the gauge of my tube. So I finally achieved a consistent 9 stitches per inch on my 64 tube, which is kind of the goal. I don't mind the 8 stitches per inch, but I live in Arizona. So I am in the process of sending out a few things. We had our first winner on the Yarn Closet group in Ravelry. We got past 25 people, so a lovely woman in Monroe, Wisconsin will be winning the 250-ounce or 50-gram cranked Felici's and a few other tidbits with the Knit Picks book. Like I said, I don't do a lot of books. My electronics talk to me, and I would prefer that to trying to struggle with which line am I on, which is the next line I'm reading kind of thing. But one thing I did this weekend in conjunction with cranking all those tubes is I had to deskein a lot of stuff. And I have this tabletop Swift, and one thing I realized is this cute little trick of that inside tail. I just attached it there, and then I'm able to crank so much more easily. And the kids also, without having problems, because the kids love to crank, and so they do a lot of this for me. Although many of you have seen the video of my son's yarn cone winder. I just can't seem to get it to wind evenly. I'm not good at the distribution, and it's got to be distributed well, or too much pressure on one end is a problem. So that's a lot of the episode for today. It's just chatting about my weekend, showing you the difference between a 48 cylinder and a 64 is about that 1/2 inch. And I do believe that the 48 cylinder is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is 7 stitches per inch. Yes, it's a little bit looser, but this long one is going to be a scarf. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is also 7 per inch on the Knit Picks, because these are going to be little girl round the houseies. But that way you know that the gauge is equal, and there's about a 1/2 inch difference. So even if the gauge improved on both of them, the difference would stay the same. Because I was playing around a lot with gauge this weekend, and different materials, different kinds of yarns. I still have some acrylics from my crochet days that I'm just not all that fond of, but I wanted to see how they would crank up. It's nice to have the 48 cylinder because I can do a definite DK weight yarn in there and get a decent size foot. Even I wear some of those for around the house socks because they're thicker. I wouldn't want to wear them in shoes or whatnot. So that's all. I feel so much better having that extra time put into working with some of my yarn in the last few days. I often feel like there is huge healing benefits to the yarn arts, and putting that time into ourselves, because sometimes it's hard to find how to do that. If you're a mom to little kids, if you're a mom to a special needs kid, where regardless of age, your level of involvement stays pretty much the same. If you're taking care of somebody who, or just living with someone who's been given a terminal diagnosis or a life-changing diagnosis, take those extra minutes, take that time, do that thing, and then remember that you did that thing. Because that's what got me through the last 11 days, is all the first 9 days I didn't get much time with my yarn. I focused when I was having a moment on the fact that I did do 10 minutes this morning when I first woke up. And I did make progress on that pair of socks, and I did make progress on that scarf. And I did contact Freckle Whimsy and say, hey, aren't you doing socks too? Which she sometimes does, because we can't always do it all ourselves. I would love to send gifts to dozens this year, and it's not going to happen. There are going to be a number of neat scarves that I cranked on my machine, and a few other more extensive projects, and then a few projects that I paid somebody else to do for me for special people, because you can't do it every year. You just can't. And it's okay to take a year off, and it's okay to take a time or a season when your focus has to be different. I can't believe I am pushing 40 subscribers. So if you're new here, subscribe. I have shorter, for the most part, episodes. Try to do it weekly. Try to throw in some fun bonus content. Yes, you're gonna get my dogs. Yes, you're gonna get my kids, but you're gonna get some yarn. And yes, you might get some of the I'm 47 and in that part of life. And yes, you might get some I'm a blind lady and the stupidest thing just happened to me. To understand, when I say I'm a blind lady, I am legally blind. So I can see, and at one point in my life I saw a lot more and drove a car. But now this eye really doesn't function, never has. And this eye is like looking through a straw, and everything is very, very blurry. Numbers wise, 2070, 2100 for reading, even with correction. Migraines all my life, on and off. No depth perception. I will literally walk into doorways and blow out my shoulder and do crazy things. But for the most part, it's fun. I don't have the stress of driving anymore. I have the stress of coordinating. I have a lovely little scooter I get to drive that's a mobility cart. And my kids are still young enough to think it's relatively cool and fun, because one of them is 2 seats. The other one is 1 seat, but goes a little bit faster at 12 miles an hour. And life is that. It's your perception and your point of view. And thank you for the friends I am making. I am so excited to be connecting with you, and I can't wait to continue this yarn journey with everyone. Thank you.